My children soon will be gods. この狩りの始まりだ。
Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb's life story, The Punisher. Remember when we called you The Punisher because of like
the really bad puns?
some of the puns that you had back in the day?
I still got them.
Oh yeah.
They've changed the names though. Now they call them dad jokes.
So you know, I got 2 books full of dad jokes down there.
Were they the ones from The Last of Us?
No, they're ones that I got at Barnes and Noble and Books A Million, because I remember when Kate saw them. Kate saw one of them. She was just like, "You gotta get that." I'm like, "Do I really?" And she's like, "Yes, you must." I'm like, "Okay, fine." I got the first one, and on stream I started reading some, and then chat was like, "What's with the dad jokes?" It's just like. So it's an endless book of dad jokes. Leave me alone. And I just kept reading dad jokes, and eventually we got one that actually chat liked. I was like, okay, and we're done. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I remember there was that, and then there was Zod Lives. What you did in Drawful, you drew like this horrible Zod head, and you were just like, Zod Lives. Oh gosh. That was a heck of a time.
That was.
Yeah. So long ago. As a matter of fact, speaking of, looky there. We got Drawful on.
Huh?
Yeah, we still got Drawful on here. So, The Punisher with Thomas Jane. There's been multiple Punisher adaptations. The one with Dolph Lundgren.
Right.
Which was not good. This one, which...
Pretty decent.
I actually like this one pretty good. It's not the best Marvel property, but it's got some great stuff in it. Then there's the Ray Stevenson one.
I like this one a lot better than Warzone.
I do too, if I'm being honest. I love Ray Stevenson. I think Ray Stevenson was a great actor. May he rest in peace. But I still like this one better than that one. And then we have, of course, John Bernthal. Playing Frank Castle in Daredevil and also in the Punisher series. So, I gotta be honest, my favorite portrayal is probably John Bernthal. But this one's a close second.
See, I don't know.
John Bernthal, my favorite thing with him as Frank Castle was from in Daredevil.
Season 2.
Yeah, whenever he confronts Matt and his platitudes of doing good and all that, and then basically him and Frank have an argument about morals and all that, and then at the end of it, Frank's just like, you're one bad day away from being me. And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
And plus, not only that, but the graveyard scene where he told the story about his daughter, her favorite book. And it's like, I'll read it to you tomorrow, baby. I'll read it to you tomorrow. Don't worry. And then tomorrow, she was gone. And yeah, that just. Also, the thing, it looked like a tear that was shedding out of Matt's eye. Turns out that was actually sweat from Charlie Cox because the helmet was so hot, and it basically the sweat came down. It looked like a tear. And they kept it in the final cut. It was like, oh man. Talk about perfect timing. But anyway, The Punisher with Thomas Jane by the Nostalgic. We're going to check out the review by the Nostalgic Critic. Let's see what Doug thinks about it. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
This episode brought to you by Stamps.com. Why go to the store to get stamps when you can have them printed right at home for your convenience? Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. When Deadpool and Wolverine came out, it was not only a big hit, but it was also a fond farewell to the Marvel movies that weren't under the Disney name. There were cast members from many of the films, cast members from films that weren't even made, and even behind-the-scenes footage that paid tribute to what an impact these movies had. And this, of course, begs the question, why are we pretending these were good?
Some of them weren't bad.
Yeah, the X-Men movies were good. Some of the parts of the Fantastic Four movies were pretty good.
Some of the parts.
I'm not going to say those movies were good. You cannot... The only character that I actually found interesting in those was Chris Evans, because he actually had effort being put into it, whereas Jessica Alba was there for the paycheck. Ioan Gruffudd didn't even know like what the hell he was getting himself into, and Michael Chiklis, they basically told him like, yeah, just do this voice the whole time. It won't get annoying anytime soon. Yeah, I'm sorry. But Chris Evans was the only part of those movies that I remotely liked. And also Julian McMahon was fairly menacing as Doctor Doom. He was not bad. And then there's the Fan Four Stick, the one that they tried in 2015. I don't want to talk about that one. I've heard enough about it. I'm done talking about it. But yeah, Blade was great though. Blade and Blade 2 are some of my favorite comic book movies.
There's only one Blade.
Yeah, and his name is Wesley frickin' Snipes. But the first two Blade movies are great. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, the Spider-Man movies were decent until everybody hated them. Occasionally we get a good X-Men movie until everybody hated them. And,
Daredevil was not the worst. It was better than what a lot of people thought, but anyway.
Light Flicks! Until everybody hated them. Yeah, most of these weren't good, y'all. But I do have to remind myself there's a whole generation under me that grew up with these films. And for better or worse, they do help shape what these people saw as comic book movies. One of these that surprisingly gets passed over a lot, though, is The Punisher. Not because people say it was a masterpiece or anything, but the film was a big enough success that it got a sequel. And I think many can agree for a 2004 movie, it is...
Wasn't really a sequel as much as it was like a
Remake.
A reboot, sort of. A soft reboot.
Very much a 2004 movie. You really can't watch it and guess it came out at any other year, and you could argue there's something interesting about that. But still, it's not discussed much. And I guess I never bothered to check it out because, one, I don't know that much about The Punisher, and two, it didn't exactly get the best reviews. But because people seem to have nostalgia for comic book movies of this era, I guess it does make sense to look back and see why. So let's trade a Dolph Lundgren for a John Travolta. We'll see who gets more laughs. This is The Punisher. The film opens, I think, in a Robert Rodriguez movie, as the credits transition us to some criminal activity.
2 years it took me. You see, Mickey, he doesn't like new faces.
Guy Pearce wearing an Aaron Eckhart mask is pleased as some guns are being traded.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's all a bust.
Oh,
I was so looking forward to being the French guy in the Matrix movies.
I don't even know these guys.
Things go south fast as only one of the criminals is left alive. Or so we're led to believe.
Gotta hate this job.
This is Frank Castle, played by Thomas Jane, who works for the FBI and, wouldn't you know it, is one day from retirement.
Frank Castle, the finest man I've ever known. What am I gonna do without you?
Get a girlfriend.
Yes, son of a too old for this. No, you're out of order, loose cannon bunch of tropes, you. Meanwhile, at evil Barbie's dream house, we see the bad news of the dead gangsters is delivered, and the only one left alive, named Mickey, is called in for questioning.
What might be comforting to me is to watch the slow death of the man who was supposed to be taking care of my son.
It turns out one of the gangsters killed is the son of Howard Saint, played by John Travolta, who's a powerful mob boss.
The man who's responsible for my son's death must die.
Sorry, new contacts. Did I hit him?
He wanted to go alone. He thought he could impress you or something.
Now bury yourself. Meanwhile, Frank starts his retirement by going home to his wife, Maria, played by Samantha Mathis.
This was a hard one.
Yeah, but I said the same thing to you after Super Mario Brothers.
Ouch.
She also has a freshly ready-to-die son named Will.
Damn.
Someday when you're older, Will, I'll tell you why we had to move so much.
Second family, isn't it? No, they're my first family. You're my second family.
Huh?
We cut back to Saint, and you'll find Travolta is a lot of fun in this. And not in the usual Turl or Castor Troy way. He plays everything like he's seething with anger, but keeps himself calm by constantly thinking how he's gonna kill the person who angered him.
Now, I understand your grief, but for your own safety, leave this to professionals.
Professionals. Yes.
I know a professional scrotum separator looking for work. Back with Frank, he goes to a family reunion with his father, played by Roy Schneider, making a toast.
I just want to say that I'm very happy that you're all here. I'm very proud that you're all here. I love you.
Now let's all continue to be alive in the most alive way that we can. To being alive and not the other thing that's not alive.
I lost so much time with both of you.
I married you. I knew what I was doing, and I do it again.
Till something do we part. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be an issue anyway. Saint finds out who Frank is, though, and orders him to be killed. His wife, Livia, even says, throw the whole family in there while you're at it.
His whole family.
Is this what you want?
Cold-hearted bitch. Also, I mean, dude. The whole family.
He said that like, are you sure? You might get a tummy ache if you kill the whole family. You know what I asked when I first read a Punisher comic? Why does he have a skull on his shirt? I really need that explained.
The guy in the shop said it wards off evil spirits.
It also might just look cool if you kill a guy while wearing it. Not everything needs an origin story. The monsters, of course, find his family and start shooting him up.
Nice shooting
Slight delayed reaction. It's like Looney Tunes. He had to realize he'd been shot before gravity took over.
That's a good point.
Well, my deal is, like, here, they should have had the gooch, this is what they call it, the gooch pull. You know what that is? It's basically the belt that they have, like, around your, like, abdomen to, like, pull you back. Mm-hmm. And basically, you time it with the squibs going off. So when the squibs go off, basically just... Instead, they did this as an alternate shot with him reacting. But here's the thing. The delayed reaction, I mean, he's expecting it, but he's having the delayed reaction because, you know, he's human. You know, and when you get shot for real, you have the real reaction in real time, but when you're getting fake shot, you have to pretend, and you're just like, instead of being like, oh, instead you're like, oh. Yeah.
Delayed reaction. It's like
but
Looney Tunes. He had to realize
but the gooch pull right here, the
took
whoop.
over. How about a nice bar by you? Before you cooked into Michael Myers' dummy double. Most of his family is wiped out, including his wife and son. And maybe my wife and kid are under those pancakes. Oh no! They shoot him as well and blow the place up. By the way, all this... totally survivable. Yeah, I love people who get a Passion of the Christ worth of pain always end up just limping away. Yeah, walk on one leg. That shows you're hanging on to life by merely a thread. Hey, at least now this interrupts Travolta's pipe smoking. That looks really weird.
I asked you to avenge our son, and you did.
You win sex tonight. Frank is saved by a local fisherman who, I guess, heals him and lets him stay at his place for a while.
Candelaria. They discussed him earlier in the film. They talked about him, and it's just like it. Yeah. Anyway.
Long time, even though I don't know if they ever explained who he was. Oh, wait. There's this brief moment.
People around here call him a witch doctor. Only one damn fool crazy enough to swim over there.
Well, I don't know about you, but that's all I need. I don't need any dialogue from this character or anything. I feel like I got him figured out. And despite Yaz being away for obviously a long time, he still heals up like the T-1000. I mean, did you see half of this? And all we got is, oh, is that a little pink on your chest? You should look like the ending of a Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
Oh,
also,
God.
Wow, been out long enough to grow a beard and have the police show up, yet nobody's cleaned the place yet. Hey, officer, it's been weeks. Can we finally take the police tape down? No, some fingerprints might show up in the sand or something. He, of course, vows revenge and loads up with as many weapons as possible. He first meets up with Mickey to try and get information out of him.
I talk to you, they'll kill me. What's the torch for?
He tells him the flame will hurt so much his nerves won't feel it at first, and all he'll feel is the cold, which leads to a pretty funny moment.
Yes.
Nobody told me the Punisher was so silly. I love how the guy who arguably started all this probably gets off the easiest. For he tells him in great detail how the crime family works, and discovers he doesn't like the Saints either, so he decides to help.
I hate the Saints.
You're gonna help me.
I think, too, that unlike most revenge stories where the lead would let everyone still think he was dead, he pretty much announces in the least subtle way possible he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you kind of head to later, you can kind of see why a lot of these people want them to think they're dead in revenge movies. Oh yeah, they want to find where you live, and that's a little easier when they know who you are. But anyway, he also thinks the police are bought off by the Saints.
It's been 5 months since my family was killed. I don't see one man in jail.
Good point. Arrest him. As you'd expect, he gets to work trying to destroy the Saints' business. Hey, and I thought the Democrats lost the election.
Damn.
He takes out the henchman inside and gives a clear message to Howard Saint. Who is it me, or does he have a very strange way of summing up things?
Maybe he's still alive because he was meant to suffer more. I don't know. He misses his family and he wants to die. He's asking for help, so let's help him.
You're like The Godfather, written by Shyamalan. Your sentences are just a little off. Even the acting here suddenly gets a little stranger.
We want our money back, all right? Do you want us to find another banker?
No.
Okay.
Did everyone get hit with the just a little weird ray today? Frank sees his awkward but still friendly neighbors are in trouble with an angry ex, so he decides to help them out.
Shouldn't play with knives.
They don't shoot bullets very well. This is Joe and Dave, and I kid you
Yeah.
not, Bumpo.
Oh, yeah. John Panetti. Rest in peace, dude.
Bumpo's the... Well, you can probably figure out which one Bumpo is.
That sounds like Dumbo's horny brother. How am I supposed to take any movie with that name seriously? Oh, also, bet you didn't know this was a musical.
I can hear what you're thinking.
Harry Heck.
Yeah.
This is like a choose-your-own-adventure, except it takes you to different genres. This is Harry Heck. Okay, how many of these characters' names are Cartoon Network shows? Who says he wrote that song for him, he'll sing it at his funeral, and then goes away. Oh, he also tries to kill him a second later. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't expect a series where the main character looks like this to be subtle.
Bring a knife to a gunfight.
Oh, I wrote a song about this. It goes, I'll sing it at my funeral. It's important to have flexibility in your job. Take me, for example. Every day I work, cry, work, stare into the empty void of my nothingness, then catch up. If I didn't have that flexibility, I wouldn't be able to do those things you're questioning right now. Stamps.com understands that. With Stamps.com, tedious tasks like sending certified mail, invoices, checks, or documents and packages can be done on your time, not somebody else's. Stamps.com simplifies your postage needs and adds valuable flexibility back into your workday. Okay, that's not my real work schedule. I cry twice. Stamps.com does more than just small business mailings. They handle all your mailing and shipping needs whenever, wherever. Seamlessly connect with every major marketplace.
I literally sit in my chair up in my room, and I'm just like, I look at the screen, and I'm just like, ah! Okay, time to work.
Online. Access all USPS and UPS services you need to run your business right from your computer or phone anytime, day or night. No lines, no traffic, no waiting, no crying. There's no crying in YouTube!
Yes, there is.
Take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are, even on the go with the Stamps.com mobile app. All you need is a computer and printer. They even send you a free scale. Easily schedule package pickup through your Stamps.com dashboard. Automatically see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers. I'm so excited for the next line coming up. This one, isn't it great? Oh wait, it's the next one! I have even more to look forward to! It's easy to choose the best rates with Stamps.com Rate Advisor. No more tedious postage math. Rate Advisor helps you calculate the best shipping rates fast. Get rates you won't get anywhere else, like up to 88% off USPS and UPS. Please use this section to decide what color text you want the next part.
Stamps.com right
now? No, but he is. And sometimes his ads are actually really funny.
To be in. Sign up at Stamps.com and use the code Nostalgia for a special offer that includes a 4-week free trial, plus free postage, and a free digital scale, no long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com and use the code Nostalgia. Well, I think that was an appropriate amount of time for you at home to try and figure out whether or not this beer looks good.
It's alright.
Well, tell me!
Ask nicely.
More Saints businesses literally keep blowing up in his face, making his clients more angry and resulting in still kind of odd dialogue.
And Mike, if you don't like it, just remember one thing. I've got more guns than you do.
This is how 10-year-olds play gangster. Hey, I'm king of the mafia because I have more guns than you. His neighbors try to reward Frank for helping them out by making him dinner.
I'd like us to all say what we're thankful for. I'm thankful to be alive this year.
Cool, my family isn't next.
I know what it's like to try and make your memories go away.
She moves pretty damn fast for the not signals he's been giving, as he can't seem to let the past go. However, a Popeye villain enters to remind him the past isn't done with him either.
A Popeye villain? Dude, that is Kevin freaking Nash.
These assassins are punch-out characters if their boxing gloves were replaced with grenades. But yeah, this is pretty fun. It's also so cartoonishly over the top. I don't think Tom and Jerry could survive this. Frank finally defeats him, but other men are on their way.
I'm surprised Doug didn't mention, you know, when he got stabbed in the shoulder.
Yeah, that was pretty deep.
It was real.
Like, oh, really?
It was real. They forgot to switch out the prop knife.
Oh.
And Kevin Nash just took it like a boss.
Jeez.
Like, literally, he was standing, I remembered, hearing on the set, Jonathan Hensley, was, very adamant. He's just safety and all that. And the prop master had a lapse in his judgment. And he gave Thomas Jane the actual butterfly knife. And basically, when he stabbed in, it was supposed to collapse in. And Thomas Jane said when he stabbed him, that look up and shock on his face is 100% legit.
Golly.
Because, and that's the thing, Kevin Nash did not sell it for an instant. He just took a friggin' butterfly knife to the shoulder, and he was just like, nothing. No reaction. Kevin Nash is a tough son of a gun, dude. And a giant. I met him in real life, dude. He's 6'10", 325. Yeah.
Golly.
He's a giant.
Didn't he play Super Shredder in
Yes.
Super of the Ooze?
Yes, he did. Good eye. Dude.
Frank finally defeats him, but other men are on their way, so the neighbors try to hide him.
Where's Castle? Who lives here? I asked you a question, fat man.
Show some respect. His name is Bumpo. They start ripping off Dave's piercings, and I'll just say it, a crazy difficult scene to watch. When the family getting killed is a lighter moment, that's saying something. And they think because Dave doesn't talk, he doesn't know.
Well, it's because Dave's emotions that he's portraying, it's portrayed that he went through that with a parental figure in his life. And that reaction was and also Ben Foster sells it like a boss.
Right.
And, just him getting his piercings ripped out, I guarantee you, his dad or his stepdad abused him in that way and tore out one of his piercings or something like that. But also, there was a really funny line between Ben Foster and Will Patton. It was just where's Castle? I'm not saying shit. I don't want you to say shit. I want you to tell me where Castle is. That was a good line.
Oh, where Frank is. He rises like a Frankenstein monster. Okay, this is a little funnier spelled out, and gives the henchman the chop.
Say you kill them all. Then what? What makes you any different from them?
Your friend just has face destapled. Is now really the time you want to ask that? Frank slowly but surely plants evidence to make it look like Howard's wife is seeing his hitman Quentin. This causes them naturally to turn against each other.
Have you lost your mind?
I give you everything, but it wasn't enough. Might live.
Well, this wasn't how I planned coming out, but got some news for you.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
You know, is it odd that the most brutal scenes in this movie aren't from The Punisher? Of course, he confronts Olivia next. I'm sure
There's like Frank gets pretty brutal later on.
Yep.
Especially that knife fight with that dude, like just up through the bottom of the throat. Oh.
Talk it out. She could survive that. I don't think she's coming back.
Nah.
Frank Castle is dead. He died with his family.
This might sound like a weird criticism, but I think the music is a little too heroic for this character. I'm not even against him being a vengeful, blood-hungry rebel. I'm just against music scoring him like he's the 1990 Captain America movie.
Not vengeance. Punishment.
I just saw a woman get literally railroaded. This is not a charming adventure. I bet Orson Welles would get his lines right in that champagne commercial if this happened every time he didn't.
Oh. Ah, the French.
Frank shoots up the henchmen, even makes some of them sing opera. Ooh, he could have an album with that voice. And he goes after Howard's.
Come on, Doug. You gotta show that. That's one of the more brutal, like just like up and then like you see the knife in his mouth. Like, oh, dude.
Their son who left him for dead on the docks.
You look like a strong kid. You must work out. Personnel mine weighs 8 pounds. Try holding it with an outstretched arm. Hell of a workout.
I'd love to have you as my spotter. Finally, he goes after the big man himself.
You killed my son. Both of them.
3, actually. I just found out my wife was pregnant.
Ooh.
This all builds up to a gigantic, epic, guess we're done.
And now I've killed you.
They didn't even touch you yet.
Well, okay, he does drag him through a literal sea of exploding cars, which honestly just feels like an excuse to have some exploding cars. But on the bright side, look, an excuse to have some exploding cars. But on top of the effects, not exactly looking the best. It ends on this lame visual.
Yeah.
You didn't need that. It looks
No.
like Xenomorph Garfield. For the one person flying overhead, it'll be like, okay, another day in Tampa. He plans to axe himself off too, but he gets a vision of his wife saying, "Stop it." Which looks very much like a scene that was shot for something else, but I don't know, we had to edit something in there to have this line make sense.
You're right. Good memories can save your life.
I was gonna pull the trigger, but then I randomly remembered. I need to live in a world with that in it. He says he's off to punish others who practice injustice, but he left a ton of money for them before he left.
Each of you get a
I'll
plate.
cover 1/5 of Dave's medical bills.
Oh.
I like the last scene. It's supposed to be the big hero moment staring out in the city like you saw in all superhero movies at that time, but because they have no music, it sounds like he's recording a podcast with no views.
Frank Castle is dead. Call me the Punisher.
Please. I'll sub to your channel if you sub to mine. Nah, too late. You made it weird. First you had the musical score to Steel, then you have absolute silence, and now you have heavy metal? This is
Oh, come on, dude. It's Drowning Pool.
in a soundtrack. It's a random setting on Spotify. And that was The Punisher. At its worst, it's a little awkward. At its best, it's alright. I think I'm a sucker for movies where a bunch of bad people get their comeuppance by a person who's been wronged. And as those kind of movies go, it has some decent moments. It does feel like a film that needed more time to flesh out its identity, as it does just go from one moment to the next without much of its own style. But there are moments that stick out, sometimes in a bad way, but more often than not in an entertaining way. If it had a little more time, I think it could be a little less generic, but like I said, there are some elements that stick out. Travolta's acting is fun, some of the fight scenes are creative, the weapons can be pretty cool, and of course, there's some really sick, twisted ways he gets back at the wrongdoers. Out of all the Marvel movies that weren't connected to the MCU, this one is the most okay-ish. I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
Do you want us to find another banker?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, once again, this movie, I can call it a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure for me. I love this movie in a lot of ways, and it's good. Overall, it's good, but there's parts of it I'm just like, yeah. You know, just... I can't help it. My Neanderthal brain likes action movies.
Right.
I can't help it. It's just like, I'm sitting here and I see like, you know, Frank Castle doing like some epically awesome like revenge shit, and I'm like, bunga bunga, this good. Yeah, that's literally how it is.
I mean, I feel like it's better than all three of the Fantastic Four movies.
Yes, that's true.
I think it's better than Daredevil and Elektra.
Yes. I would say this is, in terms of like where it stands, I mean, you know, the first two Blade movies are really good. X-Men 1 and 2 are really good. X-Men 3 is okay.
It's better than Origins.
God, dude, a nutless monkey humping a football is better than freaking Origins. Origins was such a disappointment. Dude, the video game is better. You ever played the video game?
Nope.
Dude, the X-Men Origins Wolverine video game goes hard. And it's rated M, and it's bloody, it's gory, it's everything Logan was. You know, the third Wolverine film?
Right.
It was everything it was, and then some. I mean, also Logan, you know, the third Wolverine film, to me, that one is just such a great send-off for the character. A depressing one, no doubt. But you can look at, like, Brightest Timeline ending. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Brightest Timeline ending, like Days of Future Past ending. Darkest Timeline, the Logan ending. And I think both exist. I at least that's what I hope. Because damn it, I want an ending where they're happy, man. Where everything's okay. But well, I guess this is just how things are. But anywho, I guess Doug thought that the Punisher was okay, so that's his opinion. So I guess anything else you want to add there, Caleb, or anything about the Punisher, or anything you want to?
It does do a lot, though, because he fights three villains.
Yeah.
Harry Heck, the Russian, and the Saints.
Yes. And in all honesty, pretty creative ways of like dealing with all of them. I mean, the ballistic knife for Harry Heck, the pot of boiling water for the Russian, and also tackling him down the stairs and like his neck snapping. And then of course the Saints dealing with basically like framing the wife as though she's cheating on him, and then having Howard kill his own wife.
Right.
And then him not only that, but him finding out later by like throwing the earring down. It's like, or at first he threw the pictures down. He's like, "Made you kill your best friend." Throws the earring down. "Made you kill your wife." And then Howard turns over, realizing the horrible mistake that he made. Him going like, "Oh God, no!" Just like, "Now I've killed you." And then not only that, but the son as well. Just like
both of them.
It's just like, "You killed my son." No. Both of them. And then of course, you know, the henchman, like the henchman that killed his dad. You know, the blonde-haired guy. You know, with the knife up through the bottom of the jaw. That to me is like a visual that stands out pretty heavy. And yeah, this movie has a lot going for it that's really good.
Yeah,
some dumb stuff, but yeah. But anyway,
I think it's underrated.
Yeah, I think so too.
For the time it was made, it did quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you know, keep in mind, this is 2004. This is back when they were still trying to figure out how to do comic book movies and make them work in the medium of film. And I think if this was made now, it would be like they would be able to flesh it out and make it its own thing. At least that's what I think. I don't know. But anything else you want to add or anything? Okay, well, everybody, that was The Punisher, Thomas Jane's The Punisher, by the Nostalgia Critic. This is his review of it. And let us know what y'all thought. Do you all think The Punisher's underrated? Do you think that it's properly rated? Or do you think it's a stinker? Feel free to let us know. But anyway, until next time, I'm Nate.
And I'm Caleb.
Be good people. Take care. Peace.